All right, folks, I've got with me a very interesting and important individual. His name is Johnny Max. He's known in the Niagara region and across Canada for his high energy. So, Johnny, thank you for coming.
Okay. Thanks for finding me and having me. All you have to say is I'm old.
You don't look it. The latest album that you released was self-entitled, I think, because I can't find an actual name. I know it's the Johnny Max band and Nuts,
Yeah, the title is Johnny Max and his so-called friends.
so-called friends, and JMB's in the bottom of the actual album.
Yeah, that's the Johnny Max band. I had the name probably 25 years ago when I was doing bars and I was doing guest spots with guys, and I always loved the idea. It's essentially from I'm gonna forget his name now. Ben Harper and the Innocent Criminals.
Oh
I
wow!
thought that was a great name, so I came up with somehow Johnny Max and his so-called friends, and it was a bar thing. But I love the idea of introducing myself as Johnny Max, and these are my so-called friends.
So tell us, when did you actually start becoming interested in the blues and soul?
Oh, it's an interesting story to me, but it's old for everybody around here. I started really late. I was a really bad DJ, really bad wedding DJ. I've been a record collector all my life, so I still have 3,500 albums and 5,000 CDs or so. And I started when I was about 35.
Okay.
And a friend of mine's guitar teacher, my buddy saw me. I used to host karaoke for beers. It was great because I was a raging alcoholic at the time. And he told his guitar teacher about me, who was looking for a singer. I'd never sung professionally or nothing. That was a blues band, and I got into blues really quickly because I got told to learn 25 songs in 2 weeks, and we have a gig. And I knew half the songs anyway, but I really got into blues at that point. I'd always known about blues. As I said, I was a record collector and a crazy, a kid growing up in the 70s in Canada, and blues was all around you, right? So, and then as I got along with, found out other players in town. Toronto was a massive blues center, from Michael Pickett to Chuck Jackson and Donnie Walsh and who else was around it? John Lee and the Checkmates, although they weren't blues, but still guys like Michael Fonfair and all that. It was just Toronto. Danny Marks. Toronto was a blues haven, so all the bar bands played blues of some sort.
Okay. So, from what I remember, you're more the singer of the band. You don't play any musical instruments, right?
No, I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart.
Smarts has nothing to do with it, but your pipes are your calling card is basically the case. So, just before we move on to other questions, how long have you been sober now?
I've been sober for 23 years.
Congratulations.
Right, and I quit smoking 3 years after that, and I've quit everything. I'm a quitter. I'm a quitter is what I am.
Not so much. Actually, you're taking the energy that you now have and putting it in your craft. So the album that you released, the JMB, when did you guys start putting songs into it and preparing it, mixing it? And I know it dropped in November 25th.
Yeah, it's a soft drop. We started this progress, the recording, January, February, then overdubs March, then we were on tour down east, and then we came back in May. We were doing mixes, and mastering didn't happen till September, and then we went to Europe on tour, and then we came back, and then we're doing some mastering, and little tweaks to that and listening to it. So it's been probably the longest setup for an album that I've ever done, but it's mainly because we were so busy.
Yeah, I can imagine. This is your 8th album too, so
Yep.
a lot of work. Now, I took a listen to the Dropbox files that you actually sent. Thank you for that. The songs are amazing.
Thank you.
They are.
They're not blues, but they're blues-ish.
Well, they're blues centric for me, anyways. They do they give you the punch that you're looking for when you're listening to the music. So, is there, out of all the tracks, from what I saw, I think you probably wrote them all, right?
No, we wrote 8.
Okay.
I haven't done covers in 5 albums.
Okay.
And but what I wanted to do was, there's a couple of things. There's 4 cover songs.
Okay.
There's Might As Well Be on Mars, which is one of my favorite songs from the 80s, and it was done by the Booker Orchestra, which is a Toronto band. And I found out that my buddy Neil Chapman, who was with Buffy St. Marie and everybody else, he co-wrote it and played on it. And I thought, so this was 15 years ago I found this out. Well, I've been wanting to put that on an album for 15 years. Memphis Women and Fried Chicken, we've been doing that for 25 years. That's a Dan Penn song. And everybody's been asking us, like, we play a show and people want that song on the album. And we've never had it on an album.
Okay.
Then there's Be Good to Yourself, which is a Frankie Miller song. So Frankie Miller is a Glasgow born. Like, I'm from Glasgow in Scotland. And Frankie Miller's from the same place. And he's one, I ran into him late. But my first guitar player, he told me about him. I looked him up. He's got one of the best, raunchiest voices you've ever heard. He had a stroke in the 80s or 90s, I think. His guitar player, serendipitously, I met over here when he was trying to get some gigs over here 10 years ago. Johnny Reed came out with a Frankie Miller song, which was Darlin'. And I've always loved Be Good to Yourself. It's that 70s balls to the wall, not balls to the walls, but very, if AC/DC were a blues band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then Plastic Jesus is from one of the best movies ever made, Cool Hand Luke. And I've been wanting to do that as a little nugget at the end of an album since I made the first album. You know,
well, lots of music, lots of history. Overall, the band's been together for what, 25, 30 years?
We've been playing for 35 years, but as you know, in the Canadian music business, bands don't stay together. So we've had 8 albums. I've had 7 bands.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
apparently I'm hard to work for.
Okay, so currently on this album, who's the lineup other than yourself?
Yeah, and so there's on drums, and the producer essentially is Jimmy Casson on drums. So Jimmy played with
nice.
for a number of years.
Yeah, no, I had a chat with him a while back. So
yeah, no, he's been one of my best friends for almost 20 years, I guess. Mitch Lewis on one guitar, Dylan Wickens on another guitar, and we have special guest Wayne Deatter, who is my old bass player and guitar player. And he overdubbed a couple of things. We have Bill Evans on keys, who's a guy based out of here in the West End of Toronto. I've known for 20 years. Nice. And he tours with us now. And a young guy out of Guelph named Scott Fitzpatrick on bass. And I saw him with, Sean Pynchon?
Yes.
So Sean Pynchon, I love Sean Pynchon. I would go to the ends of the earth to help Sean Pynchon. He's fantastic. And Scott played with Sean, and I saw him. And both Jim and myself, mainly Jim, said, hey, we should check this kid out. Because you're always looking for bass players, and the good ones are always busy.
True.
Right? So, and he's been great with us. He's just as solid as a rock, and that's what you want from a bass player.
So, the album came out. Did you do some touring, or is it currently just local for the moment?
We toured 6 or 7 of the songs from the summer on. We did them all over in Europe as well.
Okay.
And but we didn't have the album because we were obviously working on the album. all the CD or album release parties will happen from February, March, and April.
Oh, nice. Okay.
This year. So we be pushing that. So this is a soft release. I'm releasing it. I'm putting it on all the platforms. As much as I hate 2 or 3 of those platforms because they don't pay. Because they rip artists off, but that's what everybody listens to their music on. So we're working it that way, doing it digital. The last album we put out, we didn't really have to do that. It was all still physical. But when Roadhouse Soul came out, the Mac and HP and everybody else decided to take CD players out of their laptops, and GM and Ford took CDs out of their cars. So our timing was perfect.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that there are still devices and workarounds that you can actually use. It's true that they took the CD players out of the computers, but then again, if you've got a stereo system, most stereo systems come equipped with CD players or CD adaptable.
I have an old school, so I have right beside me here, I have a Marantz turntable with a Nico receiver, and I just rebought a Yamaha CD player because my 5-disc tacked out.
Oh, okay.
I have two other Pioneer tuners downstairs and 3 other turntables. So
my old school is a Walkman CD player, but it's yeah the Sony version. Unfortunately, it tends to give me issues because I haven't found a good way of plugging it into my soundboard to actually play my CDs, because the CD player over at the radio station decided to give me an error, and it's been like that for the last 3 months.
I just grabbed I don't know why I didn't think of it. I guess because I didn't need it. I just grabbed an external CD player, CD-DVD player that plugs in, and it's great. So now, because when I crashed my last Mac, and when I got the new one, I lost all my music. All the music I paid for, all of it.
Oh, wow.
It didn't get dumped on. So there was thousands, as you can imagine, because I had a radio show for 15 years. As you can imagine, on that laptop, there was a lot of music, and it was all gone. So now I can rebuild it a little bit, and I'll never trust it again. So,
So you crashed your Mac, but you lost all the songs, and no one could actually go into the hard drive back door and...
I'm not that smart, Yannick, to tell people what I want.
Well, all you need to say is that if you still have your hard drive, all you need to tell them is that I want to take all the material that's on that hard drive and transfer it to my computer. But
I said that. I essentially said that. It didn't all happen. Maybe some stuff was corrupt.
Possibly.
It's like my new phone, this phone that I have now, a Pixel 9. I had, don't forget, I had, on my Samsung before that, I had hundreds, if not thousands, of songs on Google Play. I rebought them.
Okay.
When I changed over to the Pixel 9, none of them got transferred over, and you don't find out until you get home.
Shit.
And don't forget that Google sold to YouTube, and then I don't know where they are.
Oh.
So anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's an old guy working with new technology, and not very good at it.
Oh, you're not bad. I mean, you're here, so that's a plus. So Johnny, now that this has happened, the album's dropped, you're getting press, you're getting traction, the little seeds that you planted in your garden have grown to fruition, and you're making joyful music for many listener and dancers and people that know you. What's is there, apart from the release party, is there anything else that you're planning on right now?
Oh, I just did an itinerary for the year right now. So here's what I'm planning. I still have to work out the details. I'm still invited back over to Ireland to do a couple festivals. I'm looking for festivals on the continent in June and July. I'm also looking at festivals in October, November, mainly November in Europe as well. We have probably 10 or 11 Johnny Max Band shows, along with a couple double bills as well. I also run a John Prine tribute show, so I have 7 of those shows. I already have 4 bluesy Christmas shows set up for next year, and I'm part of the Last Waltz that's been going for 16 years now. So
Wow.
I do that, and outside of that, I still have to run my painting business.
Oh my Lord, you're a busy man.
And I still rap hockey.
Oh, okay, there we go. So that's quite it's almost a binder full of activities. How do you manage to actually keep track of all of this?
I am actually shocked that I haven't cocked up more gigs and that I haven't missed gigs or anything. I'm shocked at that. I'm not all that organized. You just keep looking at the calendar and making sure you cross your T's and dot your I's.
True.
But right now I think I'm at 45 various shows for this year so far. About half of those are confirmed with contracts. And I'll just look for some more shows. I'll probably add a couple of bar shows in Toronto just to keep guys working in between. Like you got a Thursday night and a Friday, so I'll give them a Saturday. I'll do a bar show or something like that.
Okay.
But it's mainly theaters and festivals, and now we just wait for the festivals.
We need you.
All those dates, none of those include any festival shit.
Okay, I thought you're running almost what BB King was doing 362 shows a year.
Yeah. Right now, last year was the busiest year I've had in 30 years, and I did 74 shows.
Well, that's still a lot compared to many. I'm crossing my fingers that we'll eventually see your band come down to New Brunswick, because there's a few.
We were down there, New Brunswick, in late September. We played in Sackville, and then played in Halifax, played in Sackville, New Brunswick, where I'm looking at moving. And we played in St. George out by St. John there as well.
Okay.
And then played in Margarettsville in Nova Scotia. And then we did the John Prine tour along PEI and stuff like that.
Okay, so you've been in the Maritimes, and I was completely oblivious over.
The Maritimes, man. Oh shit! I'll be down there in April at the Contact in St. John. Start of April, and then I go over to Poland for another conference.
Okay. A conference in Poland.
Yeah, it's for the European Blues Union.
Ah, okay.
It would have been better when it was in Malaga, Spain. It would have been a little nicer.
True. but
great, but you know.
Yeah, but these talks they tend to change depending on where whoever has the best offer in regards to contract offer.
It's interesting. I went last year to the EBU for the first time. I used to go down to the U.S. to the IBCs and all that. I used to judge down there, and we played there twice. And that used to be where you met all the festival directors, and that's true, like European guys. But also, I'm not touring in the States, and I will tour Europe. So I went to where the European guys are, and it was fantastic. And I have a lot of friends in Europe, and they help you out a lot. So you get introduced to people. You know how the game works.
Yep, I do. I'm not a musician, but I've discussed it with a lot of artists so far, and everyone has their own tips and tricks. Currently, there's a blues caravan I know that was done recently with a bunch of Canadian artists over in Mexico.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to.
David Rotundo and.
Yeah, well, I got David on. It was a dicey event to do an interview because my setup for the recording didn't work out the way I wanted, and it ended up it was a silent film. So I sent him a message that same evening. I said my audio decided to corrupt the file. So I have a good film, but I have no audio to actually pair it with. So the day after or 2 days after we did the original interview, he said we'll do it again, and we did it again. So
David's a gem. David is fantastic. I've known him for a long time.
yeah,
Really good guy.
he's put me to task to see if I not to see. He wants me to create a blues event, a blues festival type of event here in Moncton. But I have no clue as to where I need to go. I've looked up and down, but I know it's all on my knees game. So it's putting.
Well, you have to go to your government for grants, I think,
Yeah.
because there's no real blues society there. There used to be one out by Sackville called Tantramarsh, but that was run by a professor in
Well, now it's the East Coast East Coast Blues Society,
yeah.
which is run out of Halifax, and
But there's probably 7 or 8 pretty good blues festivals in New Brunswick. Miramichi's on there, Blues the Lac. I think that's out by it's out in the East Coast there.
Okay.
East Coast, eastern part of New Brunswick. I don't know if there's anything really going on in Moncton. But, it is a great way to lose money.
Well, you do it for the fandom, and you do it for the fun. Then, depending on things happening during these festivals, you develop contacts, and then there's always an open door waiting for somebody to step in to actually do a show or a gig for 1 or 2 days straight. But the New Brunswick has Blues La Baie des Chaleurs, which is in northern New Brunswick towards Petit Rocher. That's recent. They're maybe like 2 years, 3 years now running. There's the Edmundston Blues Festival, which is a small. They used to be big, but they had to scale down, or else they'd call bankrupt. There's Fredericton, which has the used to be the Blues and Jazz Harvest Festival, but they decided to revamp and rename it Harvest because they're bringing in more than just blues and jazz.
Oh, for a long time.
And then we've got Nova Scotia. That's
I don't think you can be a straight ahead blues festival anymore. I think you have to bring in Americana or roots.
Oh yeah.
And folk artists, and it can all be blues tinged, but I think you have to widen the spectrum, because I think younger people, by younger people I mean 40 and under, that's what they're listening to. They're listening to country, old country. They're listening to Kebmo. Kebmo and Taj doing that new album is going to bring a couple younger listeners in. Because the last thing you want is people with all the same color hair.
True. That is so true. And one recent one that decided to start was they called it the Blues Crawl over in Shediac.
Okay.
Basically, they had ale houses, bars, pubs, restaurants that paired together to have live entertainment. But it was more than just blues. They decided to bring in Acadian artists, so you had the French side of it, and you had a lot of them that were Canadiana based. So it was a weird experience. I'm used to when somebody says there's going to be a blues festival. I'm intending to see at least 75% is blues, and the rest could be whatever you want to bring in.
Yeah. It's a tough genre because, as you know, you're one of only maybe 70 blues radio shows across our country.
Yeah.
And half of those are on university or local radio stations, right? I mean, I was syndicated in 15 stations, but I was on an online station based out of Mississauga, west of Toronto.
Okay.
But I got terrestrial stations because they were looking for Canadian content, but other than that, almost everything was BC's mainly community radio, and then everything else is university radio. Like Terry Parsons just left Memorial after 36 or 37 years.
Wow. Okay.
You know?
Because I know let's see. I worked at the Edmundston radio station for my first blues and jazz show, and there was a night gig right at the top of the university, so you had this fantastic view of the city. Then I moved from there to Moncton. In Moncton, I did the local radio station which is in the university's student building. And then from there, I went to Plus FM, which was in Dieppe over at the Arts Center. They had to pull plug and move the station to the country radio station that actually owns a great portion of Plus. So I'm with them right now, and the antenna is actually quite powerful. Not as powerful as some, but very, very powerful. It covers the southeast and some parts of Nova Scotia, some parts of PEI, and almost all the way to Fredericton, all depending on the weather, of course. And I'm syndicated in French. Well, the French side, it's all French. The music is all English, or mostly. And then I record for syndication with l'Association des radios communautaires francophones. So basically, it's the francophone music stations that they can download the episodes and play them as they wish. They could splice them and play them. So you're right about the quantity of blues shows across the country. There's not a lot compared to regular programming or country programming. I mean, here we've got 4 or 5 radio stations that are country, and we're just Moncton.
But I mean, that's the thing. So Toronto, being Toronto, and everybody from Toronto thinking we're the center of the universe, it's and I got out, but there's a Toronto-centric thing which thinks everybody listens to 70s, but it's old classic rock, and it's not true. You go an hour outside of Toronto, it's all country, all of it. You go to Vancouver, so the big centers, Montreal. Oh, Montreal not so much. I drive through Montreal enough. There's definitely Lake Shom FM has even changed. It's not really classic rock anymore, right?
Yeah.
But Toronto, I say there's 95 stations. I forget what they call this. 75% of them play the same music, and it's classic rock. Vancouver's the same. Calgary and Edmonton have a split. Winnipeg is a split. But country is everywhere. Classic rock isn't anywhere, really, except major centers.
There's some, depending on where it is. And it all depends on who owns the station. If it's a station owner out of BC versus out of Toronto, and they've got more than one station under their arm, the portfolio is all going to be programmed the same way.
Yeah, so that is cool.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But the blues survives, soul survives, and you are still a survivor, and you've proven your mettle across the years. Now, apart from doing music and writing songs and painting, is there, as a human being, do you even have time for hobbies that you might enjoy doing?
This is my hobby.
So music is entirely your hobby.
Yeah, so I used to be an athlete. So I played semi-pro soccer, high-end beer league soccer. I got up junior B in hockey at a time when junior B was a decent level of hockey. Mm-hmm. I wasn't very good, but, you got to that. So I played sports all my life until, my back went out and things. And I coached hockey for 30 years with kids. Those are my hobbies. And then I had to make a choice between coaching hockey and singing, and I chose singing. And it's. I mean, I hate saying it's a hobby, but it's what I love doing. I collect records.
Okay.
I play hockey with a bunch of old guys, and I go see live bands and enjoy life. That's my hobby.
Well, that's a good hobby. That's a very good hobby. So that's what helps you to actually kind of de-wind and get new ideas running in your head?
Oh, yeah.
So you get a chance.
I'm constantly writing on the phone or mainly on the phone, whether it's in the voice recorder or just sending myself emails. I'm just going into the studio with two friends of mine to write some Christmas songs, hopefully for next year. I already have three. I've had three for 5 years and never really had the time to release them all. And I've been doing a bluesy Christmas show for 10 years with Chuck Jackson from Downchild and Cheryl Lescombe.
Oh, wow.
And so I have a couple odd songs that I can use. One from Chuck Leavell, one from another band called the Royal Blues or something like that nobody's really heard of, and do a couple more and make a small little Christmas EP of 6 or 7 songs.
The Royal Blues, I think I've heard of them. Aren't they the house band for the Blues Awards in Toronto?
No. This was a band probably. I got it off of Putumayo Records.
Okay.
Show. I used to do 2 weeks of Christmas shows, and that's 70 songs, because Christmas songs, as you know, are 2.5 minutes long, right? They're very short. And this one is called All I Ask for Christmas. And I don't know the name of the band. It's the Royal Somethings. And Chuck Leavell, I met Chuck Leavell. So Chuck is the Rolling Stones keyboard player.
Oh, nice.
And I met him doing some venue in Kitchener years ago with Steve Strongman was on the same bill. And I was talking to Chuck, and I said, "Hey, I do your Christmas song, man." He says, "You're the only one, man. I don't know how you ever heard it." And he was saying about the Stones, he says, "I've been in the Stones 35 years. I don't know why they have me here. Nobody knows I'm there." But, I get to travel the world with them, and they're good guys. So
that's the thing about the blues artists. A lot of them meet up with some interesting characters, and the stories that they keep and cherish and share is absolutely bonkers.
Oh yeah, no, it's the stories I've heard, because I haven't been on the road as much as. So Jimmy Casson, my drummer's been a musician since he was 18.
Yeah.
Chuck Jackson's one of my best friends. He's been doing this, I think it's his 50th year or something. Virgil Scott's my buddy. He's a local guy, but he's been doing it for 60. And they've met everybody,
Pretty much.
And they toured the world, and Chuck runs the Southside Shuffle and Port Credit, so he's met everybody who comes through, right? So the stories are great, and they're not always for mixed company either.
No. That said, about your hobby, the last question I'd have would be, what's your favorite food dish? Like, if let me put it to you this way: if a buffet of different varieties of foods were presented to you, which one would you actually absolutely have?
If it's a general question, it's always fish.
But is it more specific for you?
It's specific. So I love food. My wife and I split 7 years ago, and I learned how to cook.
Okay.
And I could not believe how easy it actually was. I can barbecue, as every guy can barbecue, but that's not really cooking. And this was something. It was fantastic. So I will make any Asian dish I can. And specifically, if I'm going out to dinner, it's fish or Thai food. If I'm in a steak place, I'm going for the fish, because I know it'll be good, and I can cook steak on my own.
Okay, there we go.
But I prefer Thai and Japanese food now.
Okay.
Absolutely love it. Anything like that. I go with my niece, and we'll go try. She knows it all because she's a hip young kid. It'll be Himalayan or Tibetan food.
Oh, nice.
Vietnamese food, and I have no idea what I'm eating. and it's all good.
As long as the flavor profile is there, you don't particularly question about what's in the dish.
I'm from Scotland, so we have haggis. So if you like haggis, which I do, nothing's gonna bother you.
Well, I haven't tried haggis. I may have to eventually.
Haggis is every culture has a haggis, and all it is leftover. So it's not the stuff you really eat; it's the stuff you're gonna eat.
Yeah, it's like blood. It's like, well, here in New Brunswick, at least my from my side of the family, both sides of the Ringuette and Terrio used to have this affinity with blood sausage.
I love black. And see, we call it black pudding. I love it. Absolutely adore it. We cut it in slices and fry it.
Yeah, and they cook the whole thing and then they slice it and they serve it with mashed potatoes and the side full of veggies. But there's also I haven't seen it recently, but every year towards Christmas, there was always a part of the family that was gearing up with either wild game meat or regular meat that you can get for beef, chicken, pork, hare. But they make this humongous roaster full of the ingredients. But the way it was done like a multiple level pie, because you had the basic ingredients, potatoes, onions, and then the meat, and then a thick layer of crust for the first level. And they built it up for 6 levels of that.
That sounds good.
It is. It's very hard, very hardy to say the least. And then they had a pot of broth that they prepared in advance.
Yeah.
And then they put it in the oven because it had to cook entirely from top to bottom, so that your dough was cooked and not too chewy. But they basically they dumped quantities of broth I think it was every 30 minutes or every 1 hour, and that thing cooked for at least 6 to 7 hours.
Oh yeah. It's like a slow cooker. You do the same thing, man.
Yep.
Oh,
So
yeah. Well, listen, I'm coming to your house for dinner.
I don't know how to make it. I know the basics of it, but I do my own versions of what my grandmother did for the family. Like roasts, the roasts that I do are not the highfalutin roasts that you see where they have veggies on the bottom and then they put them on top, and then no, everything goes with broth and you boil it. If you want skin to be crispy, then you have to do it a different way. But usually that's done with beef, chicken, beef, chicken, and I don't have access to wild hare, but wild hare is usually a good way to actually add a flavor profile. But I typically just do my own version of chili and my own version of my grandmother's. I'll call it a beef stew, but in French it was patato no, but in English it would be foxy potatoes. And it means nothing because all it is that it's just potatoes, carrots, turnip, onion, garlic, and beef, which if you can get beef at cheap price, it doesn't matter the cut. Because you're going to be boiling it for at least 3 hours in the broth. You brown and then you throw something to actually scrape the bottom to get the taste, and then you throw in the rest, and you just make sure it doesn't go over. Otherwise, you have a messy. Yeah, but that's what I do. But that's what I do here, and I do traditional flatbread. That's part of Madawaska tradition. Yeah, it's called in French. They call it ploy. In English, the equivalent would be buckwheat pancakes, but they're not pancakes.
Okay.
They're almost like naan. They're flat, and you've got two ways of cooking them. My grandmother used to make them thick. So you double batter. Once you started to actually put it down, you add an extra ladle or two, and then let it cook. And then you'd flip it over, and then you'd put it on somebody's plate. The Edmonton region has more of a tradition of doing it only one side, cooked.
Okay.
And the other side is goopy, which I don't like at all.
Can you say that on the radio? I don't think you can.
Actually, you can. The fun thing about that flatbread is that you can eat it with anything. You can either eat it with whipped cream and fresh fruit, or you can eat it with croton. I don't know what the actual name is in English.
I know what you're saying. I know.
Yeah, it's pork, breading, and spices, and yeah, it's basically a spread. I do it with butter, margarine or no margarine. With
Margarine, not margarine. Come on, come on.
I'm lactose intolerant, so there's only so much I can do with milk products without taking an enzyme. But it's either maple syrup or for dipping, or molasses, black syrup molasses. And typically that's what people enjoy the most. You can eat it with broth. If you've got roast, people will put broth on their potatoes once they've done what they want to, and then you can actually serve it as a side dish to go along with it. But it's typically a replacement for bread. So
I remember when I used to deliver for Canadian Linen years ago. I just got married, and we used to go down to Little India, and you see naan bread being made. Oh my God, a fresh naan bread, there's nothing better. Just take it, thank you very much, and go.
So before we start salivating at the front of the camera, is there anything you'd like to add before we finish the interview?
Well, everyone can get everything at JohnnyMaxBand.com. We're just changing over the website the next month to show off the cover, and just keep supporting independent music, whether it's blues or jazz or country or whatever, but independent music. The big companies and the big artists, they have enough money. We can trickle it down to us, and hopefully we get to go down east again this year in the summer and play some festivals. And we've been asked by a couple, so we got to see if we can get that firmed up, and we'll just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll keep doing what we're doing, and spread the word, and hopefully write some decent songs.
Well, I think the past tells that your songs are more than decent. So Johnny, thank you so much for saying yes to this interview possibility. Also, I wish you the best of. I say Merry Christmas, but many people say Happy Holidays. Hopefully you'll be well and hearty during the season, so that the album release parties that you're going to be doing in the new year are going to be in good health.
Listen, have a great Christmas, Happy New Year. Hopefully we'll see you down the road when we get down to New Brunswick, and I'm definitely in New Brunswick on the middle of April, so Edmonton is not that far from St. John. So
true. There's that. But I'm in Moncton, so it's just an hour and
2.5 hours.
Yeah, give or take. It's a nice drive.
I speed, so I get lots of speeding tickets in New Brunswick because you guys apparently follow the rules.
Well, the trick is, if you want to speed, you speed no more than 10 kilometers above the posted limit. Then they won't stop you.
I think the trick is don't have Ontario license plates.
Oh boy. Well, anyways, Johnny, thank you so much, and have a nice evening.
Thank you for asking.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah, send me a link of this, and I'll post it on the Facebook page.
Oh,
see if we can get more listeners.
Definitely.
Beautiful. Thanks, man.
See ya.
Thank you very much.